My name is Erik, and this is my speech. $10.8 billion. That's how much CBS paid for the rights to show the NCAA basketball tournament March Madness, according to a ESPN article written by respected sports journalist Michael Wilbur. In this speech, I'll explain why I think the NCAA athletes should receive monetary compensation. As a student athlete, I'm very passionate about this topic, since I know how much time and effort it takes to be a college athlete. Therefore, I have done a lot of research on the topic, and I've found a lot of good sources. I'll be talking about how much time-consuming and stressful it is to be a student athlete, how much money college sports generate to the universities, and the marketing benefits for the school when having a successful sports team. First, I'd like to talk about how time-consuming and stressful it is to be a student athlete. According to an NCAA survey from 2011, the athletes themselves reported that they have spent about 45 hours per week on activities involving their sports team. That can be compared to an average job week for an American, which is 40 hours. Apart from working more than full-time, the students also have to do the same amount of schoolwork as a regular student. The time a university student spent on schoolwork goes beyond the hours spent in the classroom. According to an administrative policy from the Michigan State University, students are expected to spend an average 45 hours per week on schoolwork when taking a normal course load of 15 credits, which is also more than a normal work week. Some people might argue that the student athletes complain too much, that they should be happy for the opportunity to play the sport they love, and it's their own choice that they want to do it, and they have the option to quit. However, unbiased people have also raised their voices. In an article in Forbes, law professor and Forbes writer Mark Edelman questioning the fact that Syracuse men's basketball team missed 24% of the 2014 spring semester due to their basketball schedule. Something that should be taken into consideration when deciding whether or not to pay the players. College sports is time-consuming and stressful for the student athlete, but generates a lot of money for the universities. That brings me to my next main point, the major economic benefits for the school. Sports attorney and Forbes writer Jason Belzer states in an article for Forbes that the University of Alabama football program generated almost $100 million in revenue in 2015. And that is more than all teams in the National Hockey League, according to Forbes. Mr. Belzer is not the only one mentioning the crazy amount of money surrounding college sports. According to a scholarly article written by Mark Edelman, the NCAA generates more revenue than both the National Basketball League and the National Hockey League when it comes to total league revenue. With all the money the students are generating for the school, the only fair thing to do would be to give them a share of the big revenue. Apart from generating money, college sports gives the school other perks that the athletes don't get credit for. That brings me to my last main point. Finally, I'd like to talk about how college sports also serves as one of the best marketing platforms for the school. According to an article written by debate research organization Victory Briefs, Georgetown University increased by 47% in undergraduate applications and a 40-point increase in freshman SAT score. And most of it was due to the NCAA basketball player Patrick Ewing's performance the year before. It is hard to find a better way than a successful sports team if you want to put your school on the map. And the story about Ewing is not unique. According to the same article, Boston College's average SAT was increased by 110 points the year after football quarterback Doug Flutie won the Heisman Trophy. Apart from being successful players, a winning football program will also get the eyes from the nation. According to an article written by Heisman Trophy voter Dean Lecce, 54.9 million people watched the NCAA football game between Ohio State University and Michigan State University. Nationwide exposure like that for both schools is hard to find anywhere else. And in conclusion, I've talked about how time-consuming and stressful it is to be a student athlete, how much money college sports generate for the university, and the marketing benefits the universities get from having a successful sports team. The NCAA student athletes are giving up an extreme amount of time and effort to represent their school. The efforts on the sports fields by the players are benefiting the schools on so many different levels. And I think it's time for NCAA to give something back. NCAA, do the only right thing and give your student athletes the monetary compensation they deserve. Thank you.